What if I told you that the Detroit Lions have so many cornerbacks on the roster, it's starting to look more like a defensive convention? That's right, the battle for playing time is intense, with new names arriving and others potentially on the chopping block, including a veteran with a hefty salary and no clear spot on the team. But hold on, it doesn't stop there, because even with a tight end who already came in acting like a star, the team is eyeing ways to turn that position into an even deadlier weapon. Want to know which player could team up with Laporta to form one of the most dangerous duos in the league? Stick around, because these updates are on fire. Don't forget to drop a like to support the channel. Now let's get into it. The cornerback room in Detroit is looking like a Black Friday line, packed and full of fierce competition. The Lions already had guys like Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., Amik Robertson, and Maurice Norris on the roster, all ready for another year. Then, in the past few weeks, they decided to beef it up even more, re-signing Khalil Dorsey and adding DJ Reed, Avonte Maddox, and Rock Ya-Sin. The result? The competition is brutal, and that's where an idea floated by Christopher Knox from Bleacher Report comes in. Maybe it's time for Detroit to let someone go. The name he mentioned? Veteran Amik Robertson, who's sitting on a nearly $9 million contract and is currently a third or fourth option on the depth chart. With Reed in the mix, his shot at a starting role in 2025 basically vanished. And if Rakestraw delivers, then Robertson's role shrinks even more not ideal in a contract year. On the other side of the equation, you've got the Bills, who are looking to bolster their secondary. Last season, they were middle of the pack in passing yards allowed, giving up an average of 7.1 yards per attempt, and now they've lost Rasul Douglas in free agency, a guy who started 15 games last year. So yeah, it makes sense that Buffalo is hunting for an experienced CB. But there's a catch. The Lions were scarred by the injury bug in 2024. They're not about to give up depth just because. Unless an intriguing free agent pops up or someone they absolutely love falls to them in the draft, it's hard to see Detroit pulling the trigger on a trade right now. But if that changes, the Bills do seem like a logical landing spot for Robertson. The offseason is just getting started and anything can happen. So Lions fans, do you think Amik Robertson still has a place on this roster, or is it time to move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because now the conversation is heading in an even more exciting direction. Detroit might be about to supercharge one of the strongest units on the team, and the options are jaw-dropping. The Detroit Lions are already stacked at tight end with breakout star Sam Laporta, who came in with Pro Bowl level performances.
But if there's one thing GM Brad Holmes loves to do, it's turn strengths into lethal weapons. So even with Laporta on the roster, it wouldn't be shocking to see the Lions go after another raw talent from this 2025 tight end class. Now get ready for this list, because there are some names here that if they fall into Detroit's lap, could form a duo that will give defenses nightmares. Let's start with Tyler Warren out of Penn State. He's a big guy, 6'5", 256 lbs, physical, a former QB, and has reliable hands. He had a 2024 season with 104 receptions, 1,230 yards, and 8 touchdowns, earning a 91.3 grade from PFF. He'd be an insane compliment to Laporta, but truth is, he'll likely be gone before pick 28, and Holmes doesn't usually trade up. Colston Loveland from Michigan is another first-round prospect. He's tall, 6'6", athletic, and has that natural YAC instinct. He racked up 582 yards and 5 TDs last season and could easily be the Batman or Robin alongside Laporta. But again, he might not be available by the end of the first round. Now, if the Lions want a lower-profile name with massive upside, keep an eye on Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green. This guy broke records with 117 receptions, 1,555 yards, and 10 touchdowns, insane numbers for a tight end. He even earned MAC Player of the Year honors. He's physical, creative, and could be the mismatch Jared Goff dreams of. Gunnar Helm from Texas also deserves attention. Reliable hands, crisp routes, and 60 catches for 786 yards in 2024. He doesn't have the hype, but he's efficient and could thrive in a solid system. Then there's Elijah Arroyo from Miami Classic tight end build, 6'5", 250 lbs, with serious vertical threat vibes. With 590 yards and 7 touchdowns, he's a valuable weapon in the slot and could be a great fit in Detroit's scheme. Closing out the list is Mason Taylor from LSU, yes, the son of Hall of Famer Jason Taylor and nephew of legendary Zach Thomas. Beyond the genes, he posted 546 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2024. And he's the kind of smart, versatile TE who can produce all over the field. Bottom line, even with Laporta shining, the Lions could absolutely add to the group and create a tight end duo that would keep defensive coordinators up at night. And with this class, they've got plenty of options. Look, if there's one thing we've learned from this Lions front office, it's that they don't sit still. The cornerback battle is heating up, and whether they keep or move Robertson could say a lot about their mindset for 2025. On offense, the idea of drafting another tight end, even with Laporta thriving, shows Detroit is thinking big and aggressive. As a fan, I love the ambition, but I also worry whether that could come at the expense of filling more urgent needs. Either way, if you want to stay on top of every move the Lions make heading into next season, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update on your favorite team.